Hello, everybody. I'm absolutely delighted today to be welcoming you to another episode of Vina Talks ND Live, the series, and the new season of it, where we also have introduced one call to action as an absolute necessity before we love and leave you. But before I go into the logistics of it, I'd like to forward the opening, the launch of ourGAIN. ourGAIN is a series of socials and my beloved co-members, founding members, as well as committee members, Luke and Jonathan. And we're also sending our biggest love to the fourth, definitely not least, member of the committee, Sam. We will like to, as I said before, we go into the logistics. I'd like to forward that this launch of ourGAIN is essentially to give us a very good reason to having some meetups in person as well as online once every month. ourGAIN, really simply because it belongs to us. We're the owners, we steer it, and we basically want to be seen and we want to be celebrated and we want to be acknowledged for who we are and really go through every and anything, that we feel like worthy to be called a thematic. Also, in running with this episode, I'd like to emphasize a little campaign that we're doing at GAIN, which is the Count Me In campaign. I suppose this is a very well suited campaign because what again ourGAIN is trying to do is to count everybody in. So us in plural, as well as each one's individually, wants to be counted in, wants to be seen, wants to be acknowledged, and wants to be celebrated for being authentic, for being real, for being weird, my own sort of language and choice of it. Feel free to choose your own, reject, appreciate, celebrate, perhaps edit. And let us know, by the way, on that. So, as usual, I've said enough, perhaps more than plenty. And I'd like to now pass on to Jonathan and Luke to introduce themselves. Jonathan, you're the first one I can see, so please go ahead and we'll take in the rolling sort of schematic of a very unscripted chat about ourGAIN today. So welcome, gentlemen, and off you go, Jonathan.
Hi everyone. Hi Vina. Hi Luke. Hi everyone listening. Yep, my name's Jonathan Hescott, and I've worked in reinsurance now for nearly 30 years. I was diagnosed with autism, just over 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago now. I've been an individual member of GAIN almost as long as I've had my diagnosis. If I say that my life up until my diagnosis, this might ring a bell with many people, was full of confusion, not knowing exactly what was going on. Why wasn't I thriving at work? Why wasn't I thriving at life? Once I got my diagnosis, I was still, well, I knew a little bit what was going on, but still felt very isolated. And it wasn't until I stumbled across GAIN, that I was aware I wasn't the only one. And I wasn't the only neurodivergent person in the insurance industry or the financial industry. And since then, oh my goodness me, my life's taken off quite a bit, having met other neurodivergent individuals who knew what was going on kind of in my head. I didn't have to explain myself. I felt at ease. I didn't have to do the masking or the eye contact. And we did one social, and then we did another social through GAIN for individual members, and I noticed that other people were feeling just the same. And the immense feeling of relief that I felt and the enjoyment that I got from seeing other neurodivergent individuals in our industry made me think about let's do something a little bit more permanent. And that's together with Vina and Luke and Sam, that's where ourGAIN was born, in the hope that we can spread the love, spread that relief, spread the joy, spread the enjoyment. And now I shall hand over to Luke.
Thank you very much. Hi everyone. As you can see, I'm Luke. I've worked in the insurance industry for around sort of 14 years. For me, it's kind of been wet and wild, in the sense that from a very young age, I was diagnosed with dyslexia or ADHD. So I've basically just spent my whole life just trying to navigate learning the employment world and trying to move through. I found a lot of love and a passion within learning and development, and then through that, identifying different ways that people learn and learning more and more about myself, but feeling almost like my diagnosis and stuff is a dirty little secret. You just move through life, struggling quiet, and do what you've got to do to be as good as everybody else. And once it was kind of then tapping into the more inclusive side of learning and development, that's where I come across GAIN, and we met at one of the social events. And for me, it was just absolutely awesome, just being able to connect and meet people that are very much similar or very, very different, but it's that sense of connection. You're not alone. You're able to communicate and just share with people sort of some experiences, or learn so much from each other, whether that be from interpersonal development way, or just your outlook or perception of what's happening in and around the world, and learning more. And that I'm not the only one. There are extremely amazing, prestigious people that are very similar, and it's that level of understanding of who we all are, but supporting each other along the way. So for me, I was completely tapped into it from there.
Luke, you introduced me to the concept of our tribe. You were the first person to say, we are a tribe, and you found your tribe. And I thought, yeah, that's right. I found mine too.
So for me, it's that, and it really hit home because I kind of saw it on the wall, and it was find your tribe and love them. And what really, really resonated with me is that sense of environment. And if you're in the right environment, anything is possible. And it kind of feels like with this connection to GAIN, ourGAIN, is you have the right people in the room, and you're only ever going to lift each other up and support for not only individual or each other, but also the wider populace out there. And that's what's really, really exciting about it, I think. And it's that deep level of connection of knowing that we're here together for the same reasons, and we all kind of have very much the same motive of, we're more than this. Let's see what we can do. Let's connect, let's understand, let's grow with each other, so exactly. So for me, that is the pinnacle of it.
Yeah, I also find personally, sorry for interjecting so abruptly, but speaking about tribe, it's let's face it, it's a buzzword. It's more modern, it's more relevant, and I've seen for a long time that the community of neurodivergent individuals was not particularly rushing into using it, because I think it goes back to certain fears sometimes. Are we relevant? Are we modern? Are we cool? Some of us, again, I said earlier, myself, I call myself weird. So is weird cool? Well, it doesn't quite matter what it is or it is not. When you find people who really just get you, you're able to bypass any other considerations of yay, nay, cool, not cool, relevant, not relevant, modern, not modern. You simply go for it. And yes, you identify your tribe because you are seen, you are felt. And what I love personally as an extrovert and a, quite social animal, I love it when I go to networking events and I'm able to break the ice and go deeper in the discussions. For me, it's so important. Otherwise, I go cold. I mean, if I want to get myself a beer, I don't need to venture out, away from where home is or my local pub. I would be in places because I really value this anthropocentric, this kind of people to people, heart to heart conversation. How do you feel?
I wanted, yeah, exactly that. And, the most supportive people I've ever met in my life, aside from family, are people I've met through GAIN. You and GAIN, everyone who works at GAIN, everyone who's been to the socials. And it's not an exaggeration. It's absolutely genuine. The level of support, probably because we understand each other really well without having to, having to explain ourselves constantly, is really phenomenal. Luke, you talk about, we build each other up, and we do. And it's it's something I think that we might have been missing throughout our working and personal lives for many years, is actually hearing someone say, "You're doing really well. You're doing really well just being here tonight, and you did really well just coming here on the train to be here tonight and talking to us." That's kind of the correct positive affirmation that we need and sometimes missing. And when I think about tribe, our tribe, it's the absolute opposite of isolation, which again I think many of us have felt, and maybe we still feel. And so, if anyone listening or watching is feeling isolated, there would be no need to. You could, if you wanted to, come along once a month, in person or online, whichever one we're doing, whichever month. And you, if you wanted to, could find your tribe too, because that's us. And we're very much like you.
That is absolutely beautiful, and you are just so on the money. It's just so poignant, and it's that, like I say, it's the levels of connections. And I think for me, meeting you, Jonathan and Vina, for the first time, talking about, some of the things that my quirks or nuances, if you will, that sort of thing. It's the first time that I've been in an environment where people have listened with understanding and acceptance, rather than being met with surprise or disappointment or skew follow-up questions. It's always that, you can feel it and see it when you're with the community of ourGAIN, of that that level of really being understood. And when you said, you're doing really well to be here today, and it's exactly that, understanding the amount of energy and time potentially that individual has put themselves to get there and be part of that. And outside of that, some people are like, they've just turned up, what's the big deal? But it's huge, it's phenomenal on what that person has achieved, and the impact that person then has with the group. So I think you are just absolutely on the money there with that, Jonathan.
Thanks. Well, for anyone who doesn't know, we're repeating ourselves a little bit, but we've had two events so far. This was before we launched ourGAIN, which is our new branding. It's our new group. It's something we want to do regularly. We met on top of a skyscraper in a garden in September 2023, and then again in May 24 we met at the Barbican. Small groups of people. It wasn't hundreds and hundreds of people. It was a nice, intimate, conversational kind of meeting. Quite relaxed, depending on the actual building we were in. And we called it a social, but it's kind of just a get together, isn't it? The word social, I know, can strike terror into the hearts of many people. We were basically just chatting. It was almost like we were friends. We'd been friends for a long time. We were certainly friends by the end of it, all of us. Again, that level of understanding. I think we have that baseline level of understanding that just makes everything else so much easier. I've forgotten what I was going to say. It wasn't a party. It wasn't we weren't peppering each other with questions. We didn't have name tags. We didn't have to do party games. We didn't have icebreakers. No one was forced to say anything. No one was forced to sit with us, and it just organically, because we felt so comfortable with each other, we just stayed together. Some people left earlier, some people came later. And although we called it a social, it was a get together. It was a very relaxed, very easygoing group.
Yeah. What I want to actually emphasize here, you hit the nail on the head when you said social can sometimes make people stressed because of the expectations, because of the etiquette, because of the big hurrah. For some other people, and me inclusive, in this sort of sample set of the population, I get quite uninterested can I call it, turned off whenever I hear of a social, because I'm actually thinking of another void, of another, not really something that's going to engage with my soul, something that will appreciate who I am, other than who are you, what do you do for a living? And I've always gone in my life by the maxim of you are who you are, not what you do for a living. I want to get to know people in terms of who they are. What rocks the boat? What they enjoy doing in the spare time. It's the hobbies. They play musical instrument, music they like, the exercise. I don't know. What's the favorite drink? I want to know more about the human rather than the accolades or the academic papers they hold. And typically in the socials, and let's face it, we all represent a very flamboyant industry, an industry where selfies are taken in toilets because the toilets are glorious, right? To date, my best toilets of, if I had to take a photo, are of a happy kneeling and of a Weatherspoons in Holborn. I don't feel phased, dazed, confused by this kind of glitziness. And I want humans. I want human connection. Perhaps because I'm a little bit academic, and perhaps because I do pay attention to statistics that say that in the future we will not be killed by illnesses. And I don't want now to sound melodramatic, but we will be vanishing because of loneliness, right? And that loneliness is not really how many people you're surrounded by. That loneliness comes when even the presence of others, you still feel lonely because people don't want to give you that trust in trying to build a connection with you. So you've both honored me. The same goes with Sam, and you said it again, both beautifully before, everybody who's actually come to these events before, because they've all come for a reason. And that reason has been human connection. So that's it for me.
That's the beauty of it, is that connection bit is, like you say, it's that taking down the word social, if you will. The beauty is there is no pretenses. With a social, you're expected to turn up, talk, put on a show or whatever it is, or put your best self on. But with these, there's just no sort of pretenses. There's the opportunity just to come and be in the environment and just listen to others, and I'd be surprised if somebody doesn't take something away, because every time I go to one of these connections, I speak with somebody that puts me on a new train of thought, or gives me a piece to the bigger picture, if you will, or just connected with somebody on a different level that helps me understand this crazy world a lot better. It's just phenomenal.
So what is it we're actually going to do? So we've launched, we have the most fabulous wallpaper ever, I have to say. If you're just listening to this podcast, you are missing out on fantastic wallpaper. Luke, you're an absolute star. You're an absolute whiz with all of these, all of the graphics. Again, on the subject of teamwork, everyone, there are 4 people in the ourGAIN committee, and everyone does a fantastic job at different things. Well, would you like to answer that? What are we going to do? What's our plan?
So for me, the idea is, we push ourGAIN forward and effectively hand ourGAIN over to our people, if you will, and allow everyone, the people who wants to come and see what we're about and join ourGAIN, learn, listen, and understand from each other, and that opportunity to connect. I do believe there is, with these connections, there might be an opportunity for us to potentially do some like lunch and learn sessions throughout, with bits and pieces as we move forward, with these activities. So for me, it's more about kind of cultivating that community and creating that sort of in community knowledge to kind of support and lift each other up through this. I'm not sure what your take is on it, Vina.
I entirely agree. Essentially, and again, we don't want to repeat ourselves here, the messages, but it's very important to also demonstrate, because if you want the trust of people, if you want people to sort of honor you with a presence, you need to be able to allow them and motivate them and show them that we have counted everybody in. Yeah. So what have we done? We've tried to organize monthly events that fall on the same day. Okay, there's an exception. The exception is that our launch event is happening on the 15th of October, which is not a Tuesday. But from then onwards, we'll be having those events every second Tuesday of the month. And 1 month will be an in-person Stammtisch, which, by the way, is the German word for monthly table of bringing people together, sitting together. Imagine this, visualize this table, this long, pain quotidien kind of table for those who used to go to the chain. Exactly as is on the side there or there. Don't know, it's all mirrored, so probably it's there. To discuss, to talk. So we don't want any surprises. We want that to be falling on the same day, every second Tuesday of the month. And then we take it in alternates. So what we mean with that, we very much appreciate that not everybody is working in London. Not everybody is also working from the office on that day. So one Tuesday of the month, we will be meeting in person. The other Tuesday will be an online. Again, Jonathan said it beautifully. Come and go whenever you please. Of course, we'll be having booking. It's the same venue. We've chosen very carefully because we want it not to be distracted by noise. We want to have openness of space. We want us to be able to sort of easily see the outside and come in. Mobility issues, everything have been taken into account. Music levels, the lot. Alcoholic, non-alcoholic sort of options. Really very simple and straightforward. So they will be taking place at the Old Bar 1 in Cannon Street. Essentially, is the Northern Line sort of exit for somebody who, like me, uses the Northern Line, or at least it's a point of reference. Half of London uses the Northern Line, either to go south or north, right? We want us to be able to navigate through what can be quite daunting, quite stressful, in a most non-absurd and straightforward way. We will, again, thanks to Luke, be publishing very soon. And we haven't even spoken about where, and that we now have a LinkedIn page. Everything will come at the right time, I guess. But we will shortly be publishing a roadmap that gives you clarity about what happens when. The location remains the same until and unless we hear from you that for whatever reason, and please come forth, please share, please steer us. It is our game. It's for us to dictate and for us to shape in a way that really resonates with us. So we've made sure that at least until the foreseeable future or until further notice, we will be meeting up in the same venue at this Old Bar 1 in Cannon Street. We've reserved the upper tier, the sort of first level there just for our gatherings. We will be there from 4-ish o'clock to set everything up and to be able to welcome you. All 4 of us, again, will be easily accessible in terms of anybody who would like to make contact and let us know, ask for directions. But again, everything is provided on on our new webpage, which is hosted under LinkedIn. So it's a LinkedIn network page that's called ourGAIN Stammtisch in person as well as online, in order to be able to denote what we just described, being 1 month in person, the other 1 month online. And simply you register this way. That allows us to give direct sort of guidance and communications back to the people who register. And then and I'll stop. I know that the other 2 fellas here on this call have got way better voices than mine. So the last thing I want to say is we will be also delighted to be showcasing individuals. We are planning to be able to create, some carousels, some photos, some media of people being able to sort of show the faces, celebrate the uniqueness. We are all cognitively diverse. We're all different by DNA. And so whether you are neurodivergent, whether you're completely neurotypical, but an advocate to what it means to think differently and what it means to have a football team that not everybody is playing defense, and everybody has got a very particular and beloved sort of spot where they best articulate the strengths. That's exactly the kind of people we want. And because you're an advocate, you're not shy. You're an advocate and you want to shout out to the world that I am supporting this group. You could be also a parent or carer to a neurodivergent individual, or you are a leader who's empathetic, because we're all born kind, and sees this leadership sort of breed, this leadership tribe of people who care the workplace to do well, because the workplace consists of individuals who are seen, who are understood, and who are helped to develop their own skills and fulfill the true potential. I said more than plenty. Jonathan, look, the floor is yours.
Very much a group, ourGAIN. It's the title was chosen quite deliberately. It's ours. As Luke said, if we, all of us, decide that we want to change something slightly, then we will. Definitely open to parents and carers. I know that in some of the times we've met before, it's an opportunity to maybe ask for a bit of advice, just informal advice, as well as share your experience, talk to others. It's going to be great to have that visibility as well, to see that you're not isolated, we're not isolated, we are a group, we are a tribe. I just want to add that we talked about social before, didn't we? It's not a boozy after work. We're calling it after work, but it isn't some kind of your usual insurance market, boozy 5 o'clock, let's down as many beers as we can. It is for us. It's what we make it. It's nice. It's nice and it's gentle and it's a lot of conversation. And just to repeat again, it is on Tuesday the 15th. Tuesday, right? The 15th of October. Yeah, I'll just get is our first launch. Is our launch Tuesday the 15th of October from about 4:45, 4:30, 4:45 at the All Bar 1 on Cannon Street, which is really easy to get to from, as Vina said, Northern Line from Bank Station. The new exit at Bank is just along the road. You've got the main line station, you've got the District and Circle lines there. Really nice and easy to get to. It's a very smart place, not intimidating at all. We've been there. We've done our research. We were forced. I'm so sorry. We were forced to have beer there, just to make sure that it was suitable. And we didn't just go once, did we? We had to go a couple of times just to really make sure. And it's a pleasant place to be. So that's our launch day, the 15th October. Come along.
I would absolutely encourage everyone and anyone who is in this world, because it's just an opportunity for you to be in and around just the perfect environment where you can unmask. There is no pretenses, and you can bring or be your whole self. That's the beauty of it. As Jonathan's kindly said, there are potentially opportunities where you might ask a couple of questions just to get a bit of insights, for whether that's personal or developmentally or career-wise. It's just that opportunity to connect with those like-minded people that genuinely understand, or if they don't understand, they will do everything they can to understand and connect with you. So for me, it's something not to be missed, is the only way I could explain it.
I mean, to anyone listening and watching, this is just from me to you, right? Just ignore the other two on the call. But I know these people. I've known them for a little while now, and I've known the people who come to the socials, and they are all really, really nice. It's so daunting, isn't it, to go to a strange place and meet strange people. If you're going by yourself and you think, what is it? What is awaiting me? But I strongly believe the people in the past couple of times we've done it who've been brave, they've taken the tube by themselves, they've found the location by themselves, they've walked up to a group of people and said, "Are you GAIN?" They've all come away more relieved, exhausted possibly by the end of the evening, but relieved and much I'm going to say happier, because that's how they looked. And that's what we're all about. That's what ourGAIN is about. I just want to say things like, if we're doing it every month, we alternate between in person and online. It's not a club, it's not a membership club. You don't have to be present every single time. If you want to come once and decide, okay, that was great, and thank you very much, that's good now, then that's absolutely fine. We're not the sort of crowd who will say, oh, Bob was here last time. Where is he? Give him a call. Come on, get him to get down here. We're not like that at all. If you want to spend the next 6 months thinking, okay, I'll go next time, and you don't, but then maybe on the 7th month you do, we will be so pleased to see you. We don't believe in obligation. We don't believe in pressure at all. It's in the name, ourGAIN. It's us. It's for us. It's for you. You are with us.
You're so right. Nobody's pressurized, but at the same time, we care for each other. If personally, if I wasn't to see you, I would probably, drop you a little message, not to do per se with why have you not been around, but are you okay? We care for each other. We care to support each other. And the other thing I wanted to add is, because we all represent this glorious sector that we deeply care about, we identify the witnesses as we do for everything and everyone who we really care about, and including ourselves, obviously. We are not there to interview one another about, so what do you do? How big is the portfolio you manage? How much is your underwriting line? Any of that. No. Having said that, if we care to get some advice, because let's face it, amongst us now already, been over 25 years in the sector, another sort of 25, 30 years, and another sort of 15, 20 years. So we do have experience, essentially, and we do have contact. So if anybody has got any questions, they need support, career advice, whatever, we are there. So let us meaningfully utilize the time is essentially what I'd like to sort of also give as a message. And perhaps speaking a little bit about the financial sort of item, it's a bar that everybody goes and sort of helps themselves to the drink of their choice and they pay for it. Of course, ourGAIN as committee, the four of us, we have been thinking long and hard ways we can make things a little bit more collective, a little bit more giving, a little bit more, why don't you come over? And the industry cares about these gatherings because cares about shaping communities. So we will be looking for sponsorships. We will be looking for these great companies that now invest rather. Hold on, it's been a long day. Invest money on building communities. Those employee resource groups. The get-togethers, the people who basically fall into this intersectionality, appreciation, awareness. So any of you corporates out there who would like to support a very good, purposeful initiative, please, and you have sufficient sort of funds to cover for a drink per person, let us know. We'd be delighted to hear from you. This money will not go down the drain of yet another big hurrah, or as we said, a boozy affair that people sort of get out without having really connected. Perhaps they've shared some LinkedIn details, but they haven't sort of got to understand what is needed, the support, the opportunities. So help us to be able to help further, essentially, is my message. And last thing, and I would expect Jonathan and Luke to actually say, so don't want to sort of steal the light here of anyone, but we do have those QR codes that anytime that one of us actually speaks, given the glorious backgrounds, exactly there, hover over your phone, camera, QR code scan, and it will take you straight to our LinkedIn page. Of course, there will be communication through GAIN, our mother company. This is not done independently to GAIN. This belongs in the GAIN family. This has come about because of GAIN, tying us all together. I am one of the sort of full-time volunteers, so to speak, of GAIN, and I care deeply. So do Sam, Jonathan, and Luke, and everybody who basically calls themselves individual members or corporate members for this matter. So, yeah, join us before we start inviting you all. So, any final thoughts? Jonathan, Luke, what would we like to sort of perhaps emphasize, leave our audience with one of the final words before our inaugural event, although, quickly speaking, third or fourth or fifth, anyways, but the first of the ourGAIN sort of epoch. Jonathan.
I think the worst possible thing that could happen on Tuesday, the 15th of October at All Bar 1 Cannon Street is that 500 people turn up and the place isn't big enough. Come along. Check that QR code if you can see it. Otherwise, on LinkedIn, this is for now, it's our primary way of being contacted. A LinkedIn page that is ourGAIN Stammtisch. I think if you search, I've searched for it, just ourGAIN, all in one, you should be able to find us. Otherwise, you run the risk of me going wild through LinkedIn and just inviting everyone. So do yourselves a favor. That's how we're going to try and keep in touch with you. As Vina just said, there will be the GAIN newsletter. We are very much tied to GAIN, and with GAIN, without GAIN, there'd be no ourGAIN. And we're very, very, very happy and very grateful that we have the resource that is GAIN and the expertise and the people that are GAIN. So come along.
If not anything else, come for you. That's what I say, come for you as the individual. It's just an opportunity. See it that way. You might turn up for the first session, for the first connection, and you might have found your people and you might love it. Or ultimately, on the lines of Jonathan, the worst could happen is you don't like it and you don't come again. So that's one way of looking at it. But if you are on the fence or you're hesitant, please just have a little look on the GAIN website, on our website, on the LinkedIn. Just check us out. Reach out to any one of us. We'll be more than happy to kind of talk to you and give you a little bit more on the day. But ultimately, it's an opportunity for you to turn up and be you, be your whole self. I couldn't encourage it anymore.
Beautiful. I mean, it's great how we can all be speaking as much as we want, and then he comes in and he says something so important and so essential for you. And you know what? It's not a one-off. Give yourself the chance to warm to it, or to process, or to have a little chat with yourself afterwards. Did you enjoy it? Did it basically highlight some things that you would like to see more or to put to the test again? It is a two-way stream, and we have to give ourselves permission to explore, to encounter new experiences, opportunities to meet people. So there's no judgment, absolutely no judgment. We give ourselves permission to be as we are. Might not gel with everybody, but we might also, one day you might get a chance to speak more with Jonathan, next time with Luke, Vina, and the others who are there, Sam. But really, come along. It's for community, is to help a sector that needs its people. We always say that insurance, same goes for asset management, investment banking, and pensions, and the list goes on. Don't get me started on, the different sort of pockets of the insurance, financial, and professional services. We are a people's industry. Well, if we are a people's industry and we are all cognitively diverse, then let us be seen, let us be known, and let us be connected. So thank you very much for listening today. I hope we have inspired a little bit of curiosity over ourGAIN. And if you do feel the same as those sparkly eyes that you've been no doubt seeing, for those of you who are actually watching it on the YouTube channel of GAIN, count me in is the way we go by. We've taken all absolutely necessary sort of steps to ensure that the venue makes sense to people like us. And yeah, we look forward to meeting you on the 15th, which is a Tuesday. Forgive me, Elia, for really coming up with a different name of the week. Thank God I didn't even mention it. So it is Tuesday. This Tuesday, the 15th of October. Looking forward to seeing you all. Thank you, Jonathan and Luke, so much. Take care.
Thank you. See you soon, everyone.
See you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.